The battle was over. Count Dooku was beaten. He knelt on the floor of the Invisible Hand's command bridge, disarmed, defeated, brought down by the one Jedi in the galaxy powerful enough to finally overpower him. Anakin Skywalker stood above him. Two lightsabers crossed at the old man's neck, breathing hard. And Palpatine, bound to his chair, watching with an expression carefully arranged to look like relief, spoke the words he had rehearsed for years. "Kill him," the Chancellor said quietly. "Kill him now." Anakin hesitated. In another version of this story, he didn't. The fear of losing Padme, the rage, the slow poison of Palpatine's influence, it all converged in that second and turned a Jedi into something darker. But this time, standing over a kneeling, broken old man with two blades at his throat, Anakin heard a voice in the back of his mind, not Palpatine's, not fear's. Obi Wan's. "This is not the Jedi way, Anakin." The blades came down, but not through Dooku. "We take him prisoner," Anakin said. His jaw was tight. "That is what a Jedi does." Palpatine's expression did not change. Not on the surface, but behind his eyes, something cold and calculating began to move very quickly. Dooku looked up from the floor. His face showed nothing, but something shifted in his eyes, a sharp, private recognition of exactly what had just happened. His apprenticeship to Darth Sidious was over. His usefulness to the Sith was finished. He had expected to die on this floor. Instead, he was alive. The ship was still falling. Anakin grabbed Dooku and pulled him to his feet. But Palpatine already knew with the full, cold clarity of a Sith master that everything had just changed. Because the man now in Republic custody knew every single one of his secrets. The public version of the story was simple. Chancellor Palpatine had been rescued. The Separatist leader Count Dooku had been captured alive by Anakin Skywalker and was now in secure Republic custody. The battle over Coruscant had ended in a clear Republic victory. By every standard measure, it was a triumph. Palpatine smiled through every briefing. He shook hands. He gave interviews. He expressed enormous gratitude for his rescue and enormous pride in the Republic's brave Jedi defenders. Then he went back to his private office and sat very still for a long time. Dooku knew everything. He knew that Palpatine was Darth Sidious, the Sith Lord the Jedi had been searching for in the shadows for over a decade. He knew about Order 66. He knew about the inhibitor chips buried inside every clone trooper's mind. He knew the full architecture of the plan, the war engineered from both sides, the Republic designed to fall, the galaxy designed to be rebuilt as an empire under one man's total control. In the wrong hands, that knowledge was the only weapon in existence that could destroy everything. Palpatine dispatched an agent to the detention facility that same night. Quiet, professional, the kind of solution that never left a trace. The agent did not come back. Dooku, even without his lightsaber, even locked inside a maximum security cell, was still Count Dooku of Sereno. He had survived 5 decades of Sith training, Clone Wars battlefields, and political intrigue across the galaxy. He was not a man who died quietly in a cell for someone else's convenience. The next morning, Dooku filed a formal request through the facility's legal channels. He wished to speak directly with the Jedi Council. Not a lawyer, not a Republic tribunal. The Jedi Council. Specifically, the request reached the temple within the hour. And Palpatine, who had ears in every building on Coruscant, heard about it 14 minutes later. His window to act quietly was already closing. They brought him into the council chamber in binders. Count Dooku, former Jedi Master, leader of the Separatist Alliance, apprentice to the Sith, stood in the center of the room with his hands restrained and his chin raised. He looked at the assembled council with the calm, measuring expression of a man who had decided exactly what he was going to do and had fully made peace with it. Mace Windu spoke first. "You requested this meeting. Speak." Dooku looked slowly around the room. Then he said 3 words. Darth Sidious exists. The chamber went very quiet. He is not hiding in the Outer Rim. He is not operating through distant proxies. He sits in the Senate building. Dooku paused. He has sat there for over a decade. And you have been speaking with him every single day of this war. Mace Windu's expression did not change. You are naming the Chancellor. I am naming Darth Sidious, Dooku said, who is also the Chancellor. Yes. The silence that followed was different from the first one. Heavier, more dangerous. Dooku told them everything. Order 66. The inhibitor chips embedded in every clone trooper's brain. The plan to dissolve the Senate. The empire that was supposed to rise from the Republic's ashes. He laid out 30 years of Sith strategy with the precise, detailed clarity of a man who had helped design it and had absolutely nothing left to protect. Some council members were skeptical. Mace Windu, most of all, a prisoner naming a political enemy, was exactly the kind of information that demanded careful verification. But Yoda sat completely still throughout. When Dooku finished, the old master closed his eyes. True, Yoda said quietly. What he says, I feel it. True, it is. The council chamber erupted, and across the city, Palpatine felt something shift in the Force. He was already out of his chair. They did not go with 4 Jedi this time. Mace Windu led a team of 6, some of the most experienced fighters the Council had remaining. In the hours since Dooku's testimony, they had verified enough of his intelligence to be completely certain. The financial trails matched. The encrypted Separatist command codes aligned. The precise clone trooper activation sequences fit the architecture Dooku had described down to the last detail. It was all there. Once they finally knew where to look. They arrived at Palpatine's private office without announcement. Palpatine was already standing when they entered, facing the door, composed, as if he had been expecting them. He probably had. Master Windu, he said pleasantly. To what do I? We know what you are, Mace said. The smile stayed on Palpatine's face for exactly 2 more seconds. Then it left completely. What followed was not the performance from his office, the shrieking, cornered act engineered specifically to manipulate Anakin Skywalker. There was no Anakin here to manipulate. These were 6 Jedi Masters who had arrived prepared, fully informed, and completely without illusions. Palpatine fought like exactly what he was. The most powerful Sith Lord alive. The battle tore through 2 corridors and half the entire executive floor before it could be contained. 2 Jedi fell in the first 60 seconds, not dead, but badly wounded and immediately out of the fight. The others pushed hard. Mace Windu's Vapad formed the one fighting style specifically designed to channel and redirect the opponent's own darkness, drove Palpatine harder than nearly anything he had ever faced. But Palpatine was not finished. He broke through a window and disappeared into the cityscape, into the vast, dark infinity of Coruscant at night before the surviving Jedi could regroup and pursue. He had escaped, but he could no longer hide what he was. By morning, the holonet carried the full story. And somewhere in a detention cell on the lower levels, Count Dooku allowed himself one small, cold smile. Palpatine did not run far. Running was not in his nature. Hiding was. And there was a critical difference. Hiding meant staying close, staying connected to the levers of power he had spent a generation quietly building into the Republic's very foundations, the Senate. The military command structure, the clones, the loyalists embedded inside every institution that mattered. He triggered Order 66 from a secure relay station deep in Coruscant's lower levels. Not in the clean, perfectly coordinated fashion he had always envisioned. That version required him to be seated on a throne, announcing the Jedi's treason to a Senate already gathered and ready to applaud. This version was desperate, reactive, ugly. But the chips activated anyway. Across the galaxy on Kashyyyk, Felucia, Megiddo, Utapau, Cato Nemoidia clone troopers turned on the Jedi generals they had fought beside for 3 years. The betrayal was simultaneous, precise, and even with Dooku's warning, even with the Council already on high alert, the sheer speed of it was devastating. They had warned as many field commanders as they could reach in the hours after Dooku's testimony. Not all of them, not fast enough. Jedi died on worlds they had given everything to protect. But others survived who would not have in any other version of this story. Plo Koon broke from his escort over Cato Nemoidia with seconds to spare. Aayla Secura deflected the opening shots on Felucia and vanished into dense jungle. Yoda, already operating on the edge of his deepest instincts since Dooku's testimony, was moving before the first shot was fired on Kashyyyk. The Republic fractured along every fault line Palpatine had been quietly widening for years. The Senate divided, military units split in half. Planetary governors had to choose sides without fully understanding what the sides even were. The Empire had not risen, but the Republic was no longer on solid ground. Then Anakin received a message from Obi Wan. Palpatine's location had been found. Anakin landed on Coruscant and walked directly into the most uncomfortable conversation of his life. Dooku was waiting in a secured room off the detention wing, not in binders this time, by the Council's careful arrangement. He sat straight-backed, hands folded on the table, looking exactly like the man Anakin had fought on Geonosis years before. Older, quieter, but not one bit less precise. "You saved my life," Dooku said. "I upheld the Jedi Code," Anakin said flatly. "Don't take it personally." "Nevertheless," Dooku said, "the result is the same." Anakin pulled out a chair and sat down. He did not want to be here. But Obi Wan had been very clear. Dooku knew Palpatine's fighting style, his tactical preferences, his contingency positions, his personal defenses in ways that no living Jedi could match. If they were going to end this cleanly, Dooku's knowledge was the difference between success and a catastrophic failure. "You want to help us take him down?" Anakin said. "I want to survive what comes after," Dooku said. "And Sidious will not allow that unless he is stopped permanently. Our interests align. For now." It was the most honest thing Anakin had ever heard from him. They moved out within the hour. Anakin, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, and Dooku following coordinates and insider knowledge. Dooku delivered with the cold precision of a man who had built the system and knew exactly where all the hidden doors were. The tension between Anakin and Dooku in that ship was a living thing. No warmth, no trust, just a shared purpose so immediate and so sharp that it held them in the same direction anyway. "Whatever happens down there," Obi-Wan said quietly to Anakin as they descended, "stay in the light." Anakin nodded. He had already made that choice once. He intended to keep making it. They found Palpatine in the sublevels beneath the old senatorial district. He had retreated to a hardened bunker built into the foundations of Coruscant itself, a command position that did not officially exist, accessible only through routes known to a very small number of people. Dooku was one of them. The four of them moved through the maintenance corridor together, no announcement, no demands, no ultimatum. Just 4 people and 4 lightsabers, standing between the Republic and the permanent end of everything it had ever been. Palpatine met them without surprise. He stood in the center of the bunker, hands at his sides, completely calm, looking at Dooku with an expression that was as close to pure hatred as a Sith master ever allowed himself to show. "Treachery," he said quietly. "Even from you, Dooku. I find it disappointing." "You sent someone to kill me in my cell," Dooku said. "We are well past disappointment." The fight was the most intense any of them had ever experienced. Palpatine fought with total, absolute abandon, lightning in wide sheets, telekinesis that threw entire sections of wall, saber work that should have been physically impossible for a man his age. He poured every resource he had left into eliminating the 4 people standing between him and survival. Mace Windu fell in the opening minutes, not dead, but completely out of the fight, with 3 cracked ribs and a shattered sword arm from a direct force blast. Obi Wan was pushed to his absolute limit. Dooku and Anakin fought side by side. 11 minutes later, it was over. Palpatine was down, contained, finally and completely, with no escape route left. Dooku stood against the far wall, badly wounded, breathing carefully, one hand pressed hard against his side. Obi-Wan lowered his blade and looked at the fallen Emperor, who had never quite become Emperor. The war was over. But nobody in that room had any idea yet what the galaxy was supposed to look like now. The tribunal lasted 6 weeks. It was the most watched legal proceeding in Republic history, broadcast across every Holonet channel, debated in every Senate chamber, discussed in cantinas and classrooms from the core worlds all the way to the Outer Rim. Palpatine faced charges so extensive that the legal team assembling them worked in rotating shifts around the clock. Count Dooku faced a separate but equally enormous list. Anakin testified at both. At Palpatine's tribunal, he described the private meetings, the manipulation, the whispered promises that had been carefully engineered to target exactly who he was and exactly what he feared. He described the moment aboard the Invisible Hand when the Chancellor had looked at a kneeling, beaten prisoner and said, "Kill him," as if it were the most natural thing in the galaxy. He described choosing not to. The chamber was very quiet when he finished. At Dooku's hearing, he was asked directly, did he regret sparing the prisoner's life? Anakin thought about that for a long moment. No, he said. Because of what he gave the council, we still have a republic. A damaged one, but one that can actually be rebuilt. Dooku received a life sentence. The execution debate was fierce. The Senate was sharply divided on it for months, but in the end, no freedom and no death. He would spend the rest of his life answering for what he had helped construct. He accepted the verdict without appeal. Anakin walked out of the Senate building after the final hearing and stood in the open air above the Coruscant skyline for a long time. The war was over. Padme was waiting. The Jedi Order was fractured in places, but it was there, breathing, standing, and so was he. Not Vader. Not the thing he had been slowly pulled toward for years without ever fully understanding the pull. Just Anakin Skywalker, flawed, complicated, powerful, and finally, free. He took one long, slow breath and walked toward the light,